market equilibrium is a situation when quantity demanded and quantity supplied are equal and there is no tendency for price or quantity to change. In the market, the seller who provides the goods and service interact with the buyer who does not own the goods and want to buy them. At each price, the seller determines the number of units that he or she wants to offer or offer at the price, and the buyers determine the number of units that he or she wants to buy or inquire about. The higher the quantity offered, the higher the market price of the good, and the higher the quantity requested, the higher the market price of the goods. At a price at which these two quantities are equal, that is, at a price at which the quantity demanded is equal to the quantity offered, the market is in equilibrium. A market surplus occurs when there is excess supply, that is, quantity supplied is greater than quantity demand. A market shortage occurs where there is excess demanded, that is, quantity demanded is greater than quantity supplied. In this situation, a few manufacturers may not be capable of promoting all their goods. This will set of them to decrease their fee to make their product greater. In order to live aggressive, many corporations will decrease their charge, as a result decreasing the marketplace fee for the product. In reaction to the decreased fee, purchasers will grow their amount demanded, transferring the marketplace closer to an equilibrium fee and amount.
Discussed based on the market equilibrium for the face mask, demand increase. Based on the graph above, we have seen a recent increase in the demand for the face mask from D0 to D1, which leads to a rise in the price from the P1 to P2. The quantity being demand and the supply should also increase from the Q0 to Q1. But in reality, there is a shortage in quantity, preventing producers from the supplying at the equilibrium price. The demand for the face mask is increased because the government requires the people to wear the face mask to overcome the problem of COVID-19 that occurs in our country. For the eggs, demand decrease. Based on the graph above, we have seen a recent decrease in the demand for the egg from the D0 to D1, which leads to rise in the price from P2 to P1. The quantity being demand and supplies should also decrease from Q2 to Q1, but in reality, there is a shortage in quantity. Cause the demand curve to shift to the left to D1. Thus, the equilibrium price will increase from 12 ringgit 17 cent to 13 ringgit 10 cent, and the equilibrium quantity will increase from 1 unit to 2 unit. The demand for eggs is decreased because the government will implement a lockdown on all Malaysians in order to overcome the COVID-19 problem. So, Malaysians buy raw materials in a panic, which cause eggs in the market to run out. This is because the people do not plan their expenses before the lockdown occurs. For the chicken, demand increase. Based on the graph above, we have seen a recent increase in the demand for a chicken from D0 to D1, which leads to rise in price from P1 to P2. The quantity being demand and supply should also increase from Q0 to Q1.
Summary of related issue. Coronavirus or COVID-19 disease, coronavirus or more popular as COVID-19, are a family of viruses that can cause respiratory illness in humans. They are called corona because of crown-like spike on the surface of the virus. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, which is SARS, Middle East Respiratory Syndrome MERS, and the common cold are examples of coronaviruses that cause illness in humans. The new strain of coronavirus or COVID-19 was first reported in Wuhan, China in December 2019. The virus has since spread to all continents and a new coronavirus was identified as the cause of a disease outbreak that originated in China. The virus is also known as Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2, which is SARS-CoV-2. The disease it causes is called coronavirus disease 2019 because it happened in 2019. In March 2020, the World Health Organization WHO declared the COVID-19 outbreak a pandemic. Public health groups including the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC and WHO are monitoring the COVID-19 pandemic and posting updates on their website. This group have also issued recommendations for preventing and treating the virus that causes COVID-19. Coronaviruses are often found in birds, cats, and camels, and the viruses live in but do not affect the animal. Sometimes these viruses then spread to different animal species, and the viruses may change, mutate as they transfer to other species. Eventually, the virus can jump from animal species and begin to infect humans. Symptom and effect of COVID-19. Sign and symptom of coronavirus disease 2019, which is COVID-19, may appear 2 to 14 days after exposure. This time after exposure and before having symptoms is called the incubation period. You can still spread COVID-19 before you have symptoms that called pre-symptomatic transmission. Common signs and symptoms can include like fever, cold, or tiredness. Early symptoms of COVID-19 may include a loss of taste or smell. Other symptoms can include such as shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, muscle ache, chill, sore throat, runny nose, headache, chest pain, pink eyes, which is conjunctivitis, and vomiting. Children have similar symptoms to adults and generally have mild illness. Causes spread of COVID-19. The virus that causes COVID-19 spread easily among people. Data has shown that the COVID-19 virus spread mainly from person to person among those in close contact within about 6 feet or 2 meters. The virus spread by respiratory droplet released when someone with the virus coughs, sneezes, breathes, sings, or talks. This droplet can be inhaled or land in the mouth, nose, or eyes of a person nearby. Sometimes COVID-19 can be spread if you touch a surface with the virus on it and then touch your mouth, nose, or eyes, but the risk is low. The COVID-19 also can be spread from someone who are infected but has no symptom and can be spread from someone who is infected but hasn't developed symptom yet.
Movement Control Order MC in Malaysia because of COVID-19. The Malaysia Government Movement Control Order, commonly referred to as the MC or PKP, is a series of national quarantine and current sanitary measures implemented by the federal government of Malaysia in response to the COVID-19 pandemic in the country starting on 18 March 2020. The method of the prohibition of movement and assembly nationwide, including all religious, sport, service, social, and cultural activity. All religious activity in Moscow suspend, including Friday prayer. Malaysia bear from the living country the restriction placed into the entire of non-Malaysia into the country. All industry, local or federal, are closed except for infrastructure service and supermarket, wet market, grocery store, and multifunction store selling daily necessities. All necessaries, government and private school, including boarding school, international school, Tahfiz center, primary and secondary, also all university center closed. Chronology about MCO. On March 2020, Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin made an official speech and officially promulgated the Movement Control Order under the Prevention and Control of the Infection Disease Act 1988 and the Police Act
1967. The order included the following restriction. On 18 March, Malaysia began the implementation of the government control order. On March 25, the Prime Minister, to a live national broadcast, announced a first extension of the MCO to last until 14 April. In response to the surge of the case in March 2020, the Malaysian government, led by the Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin, imposed a nationwide lockdown known as the Movement Control Order (MCO).
The conclusion is that due to COVID-19, starting from the beginning of 2019, the government or many sellers are raising the price of goods sharply. The rising price factor is also because demand is higher than production. Among them are eggs, chicken, and face masks. For face mask items, the demand increased because all Malaysians are required to wear masks until there is a shortage in quantity. For essential goods such as eggs, demand decreased because the price of eggs is too expensive, so that the people cannot afford to buy. As for chicken, demand increased but supply decreased because there are some individuals who cannot demand in a short time. Hence the importance of government intervention in market equilibrium. When the government sets a price for an item, seller cannot sell goods at the price they want. Example are essential items such as sugar, oil, and vegetables. The government will set the price according to the ceiling price. Ceiling price is below equilibrium, so all the people can buy goods because the price still under control. Thus, each individual must have a responsibility to assist Malaysia in winning this war so that the economy can be as it used to be in the absence of COVID-19. The Malaysian government also has proactively taken many initiatives to stimulate and redevelop the economy, as well as boost the economy in the private sector, such as the recurring economy stimulus package and the generator plan. So, if the Malaysian government provides assistance to a handful of people, the supply of goods will increase as the demand for goods by consumer increase. The conclusion is, every item must be taxed by the government. So overall, it will help the government to redevelop the affected economy from COVID-19. That's all explanation from me. Thank you.